I'm Julia Sondu, showing you where development is happening. Please come and join us. Israel says Hamas group's main operations base is under Shifa Hospital in Gaza City. In a briefing for reporters of international media outlets, IDF spokesman Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari says the Hamas group's main base of operations is under Shifa Hospital in Gaza City. Hagari says that Hamas has several underground complexes under Shifa, the largest hospital in the Gaza Strip, which are used by the group's leaders to direct attacks against Israel. He notes, "We have concrete evidence that hundreds flooded into the hospital to hide there after the October 7th. He says Israel has intelligence that there are several tunnels leading to the underground base from outside the hospital, so that Hamas officials do not need to enter the hospital to reach it. But Hagari adds that there is also an entrance to the underground complex from within one of the wards. Hamas operate inside and under Shifa Hospital and other hospitals in Gaza with a network of tunnels, he says. Shifa is not the only hospital, it is one of many. Hamas use of hospitals is systematic. Additionally, according to the IDF, Hamas's internal security has a command center inside Shifa Hospital, from which it directs rocket fire on Israel and stores weapons. Hagari accuses Hamas of using the hospital, with 1,500 beds and some 4,000 staff, as human shields. Hamas uses Shifa Hospital as a shield for Hamas infrastructure, Hagari says. Hamas wages war from hospitals. By operating from these hospitals, Hamas not only endangers the lives of Israeli civilians, but also exploits innocent Gazan civilians. Hamas operate inside hospitals precisely because they know that the IDF distinguishes between civilians. He says that the hospital's energy infrastructure is also used by Hamas's underground base. He says the information on Hamas's use of the hospital is based on a wide range of intelligence sources collected by the Military Intelligence Directorate and Shin Bet Security Agency. He says the intel has already been provided to allies. And he warns, when medical facilities are used for purposes, they are liable to lose their protection from attack in accordance with international law. According to the latest publication from the Jerusalem Post, the publication says, Gaza tunnels, infrastructure uncovered by Israeli geologist. The tunnels in Gaza initially had some basic characteristics in common with other excavation sites in Israel and elsewhere in the world, such as burial caves, mines, and hiding systems. The invasion in Israel on October 7th showed how Hamas has significantly improved and strengthened its tactical and strategic capabilities since it began to dig into and hide in the Gaza Strip decades ago. The infamous Hamas tunnels have played a central role in this worrisome development. Professor Joel Roskin, a geomorphologist and geologist at Bar Ilan University's Geography and Environment Department, has followed the changes in the Gaza tunnels over the years, analyzed the conditions that allowed their formation and expansion, and revealed what geological and security conditions have enabled their speedy development. The tunnels in Gaza initially had some basic characteristics in common with other excavation sites in Israel and elsewhere in the world, such as burial caves, mines, and hiding systems. But each tunnel system is different and uniquely related to the geological, geographic, and geopolitical conditions in place, he explained. What is interesting about Hamas is that the rate of growth of the tunnels, not only in size but also in purpose, complemented the development of the organization's operational concept, Roskin said. It began with the smuggling of goods, progressed to the smuggling of weapons, and later evolved into attack tunnels. At these stages, the organization's perception was tactical. Later, they facilitated abductions like that of the 2006 of Private Gilad Shalit and transformed the underground into attack and hiding tunnels, he said. The next phase was the strategic offensive tunnels that were revealed during Operation Protective Edge 9 years ago. These new tunnels corresponded to the growing operational appetite of Hamas, whose leaders saw that they were always successful, and that the Israel Defense Forces had only a meager response to this. Tunnels initially used for smuggling. The fledgling phase began in 1982 following the peace agreements with Egypt and Egyptian insistence that the border dissect the town of Rafah between Gaza and Egypt. Residents dug tunnels that were used to smuggle goods and mainly to reunite families that were split between the two sections of Rafah. The tunnels at that time, they were dug mainly by local miners with experience in digging wells. In 1994, an upward trend began in the number of smuggling tunnels for goods and munitions between Rafah in Egypt and Rafah in Gaza, which came under the control of the Palestinian Authority as part of the Oslo Peace Accords. In 2000, an intensification of the use of the underground began following the Second Intifada, Palestinian uprising, and in view of the IDF's preparations for an unfulfilled invasion of the Gaza Strip as part of Operation Defensive Shield. During this period, illegal arms smuggling and the mining of tunnels in Rafah increased. Later, the realization that Israel had no effective response permeated Gaza, and Hamas and other players increased and developed underground activity, which included explosions under IDF positions through attack tunnels. After Israel's full unilateral military and civilian withdrawal from the Gaza Strip in 2005, geared to allowing Gazans to independently build a new future, the investment in the IDF's response to the tunnel challenge significantly decreased due to the erroneous Israeli assessment of an upcoming peaceful future for the people of Gaza, Roskin wrote. On the other hand, the smuggling tunnels between Egypt and Gaza expanded in quantity to hundreds, grew in size, length and quality, and larger spatial distribution, as well as shafts for entry and exit were already established in designated and visible sheds, and legal and illegal goods freely passed through. The Egyptians did not take measures to stop this profitable business and the arming of Gaza against Israel. Concrete supplied by Israel for construction was used to reinforce tunnel walls and not just wood planks as in the past. Thus, Gaza Palestinians and Hamas armed themselves and moved to independent manufacture of weapons from smuggled materials, and mining the offensive tunnels that were now directed towards Israel. Hamas takeover of the Gaza Strip in 2007 from the Palestinian Authority, and in the absence of significant interference from Israel or Egypt and following the successful abduction of Shalit, the field of underground warfare in Gaza expanded and developed into a holistic joint guerrilla terror warfare concept, the results of which we are now witnessing. Access tunnels were dug to indirect ballistic rocket and mortar firing positions by 2007 and to smuggled goods, logistics centers and command and control headquarters. From 2009, Hamas switched to strategic use of the underground and dug about 35 offensive tunnels under the 1949 Armistice Line border with Israel, some of which penetrate hundreds of meters into the Jewish state. These tunnels were no longer just long transit routes from point to point, but rather complex, multi-story underground caverns and tunnels with rooms, halls and warehouses. Many entrance shafts for the underground city, mainly in residential buildings, were horizontal, vertical or incline. In Gaza, a tunnel culture developed that included educational visits of pre- to high school students, wedding photos and tours of the underground tunnel system. It can be assumed that an extensive multi-story tunnel network of dozens and probably several hundreds of kilometers is spread under the Gaza Strip. This is the end of our program today. See you on Intervlog same time tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon to get new video updates. Thank you for watching Intervlog. Thank you.